chat. Today we're going to cover the difference between dating and building a relationship. Okay, the difference between dating and building a relationship, and how you can quit the dating game right now and begin attracting women who are truly your equal. Okay, so there's something I need you to hear in that. When I use the word attracting, I mean that they are coming to you. So what it takes out of the equation is you dating in a hunting manner, you having to go after these women and you don't know which one you're going to catch and all the energy that goes into that. Okay, so again, the difference between dating and building a relationship, and how you can quit the dating game right now and begin attracting women who are truly your equal. Okay, so if you're like anything like most of my clients, you guys have been on plenty of dates. Or some of you are experiencing your such social hesitation or awkwardness that you've given up even asking women and you're not going on any dates. If you can resonate with either of those and you want to share, throw it in the chat. So the question is, like, are you ready to live your dreams with your life partner by your side, right? This is something that I had in the description. But as far as you can tell, you have to play the dating game. Let's talk about that. I call it the old way, okay? This is how everyone dates. Everyone, I'm using in quotation marks, but let's just say the cultural norms. And why this is a terrible approach. And you guys already know this. That's why you're tired of it. I don't even meet a man over 30 who is like, I'm sick of dating. If he's still single, he's sick of dating, even if he's not getting any dates. And here's why, okay? The old way is very random. It is very energy heavy. You guys, you're going to put your, profile on who knows how many apps. You're going to spend hours and hours swiping on people you've never met. You don't know if their profile is even real, let alone if it represents a real person, if she's honest and real in that way, right? So you have to go through all of these unknowns and all this uncertainty. Attending awkward social events. Maybe you'll find someone there, okay? Or learning skills, like maybe you should learn how to dance or play guitar or speak Spanish. I talk about all of these in my webinar for people who are considering being clients, okay? All of that for what result? What is the guaranteed result if you play the dating game? There's no guaranteed result. You might lose your freaking mind. You might end up married. You might end up with a girlfriend who, we're going to talk about this more, but suddenly leaves for no apparent, like for some little problem that you didn't think was that big of a deal. Okay. So, the process of it is you put in all this energy. It's relatively random and you have no guaranteed results. So, I mean, logically speaking, and I want to speak to your man logic, technical breakdown, physical breakdown. It makes no sense, okay? And I know you guys know it makes no sense. That's why you're here. So the myth is that if you date, eventually you'll find the one. Okay, maybe you won't find the one, but at least you should find someone who you can build a life with, right? And somehow you'll know that she is compatible. How will you know? We don't know. Nobody knows how to actually know if somebody's compatible. Maybe check your zodiac sign or take a compatibility survey. But the truth is, you're just hoping based on the fact that you like her, that she'll be compatible. So if you've been in a relationship where you decided to spend your life with someone only to find out later either she wasn't compatible or she suddenly left you because you weren't compatible for her, you can put that in the chat or just type yes if you can resonate with what I'm saying. Now, this leaves us with the idea that a healthy relationship is a fantasy. That a truly profoundly connected relationship cannot last forever because you've had that and it went away. If that resonates, type yes, right? We have this myth that, You have to settle because no one's perfect. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that from potential clients this week. Well, she wasn't perfect, but no one's perfect. I'm not looking for perfect. What that might be covering up is you see no possible way to find someone who's perfect for you. Of course, there's no real perfection. That doesn't even exist. Everyone embodies perfection the way they are. But perfect for you, what I mean by that is that she has the qualities that will support your future life, that you two will grow bigger together rather than draining each other, making each other smaller. That's what a healthy relationship does. So the myth is there are no healthy relationships. Why? Because out of 9 million men who date one time, that's 9 million dates, right? So let's say they go on, 100 dates each. Excuse me. Let's say they go to 100 dates each, okay? And 10% of them end up in a relationship. Well, 9 out of 10 of those is the relationship's going to fail, whether they get married or not. And one of those might report that they're happy. Okay? And then there's this mystery. We want to ask people who've been married for 50 years. How did you stay married? What's the secret? Right? Because a healthy, happy relationship is a myth. And then sometimes what we hear from them is, well, neither of us wanted to get divorced at the same time. Right? I saw that in a post from a single woman about her parents. So the myth is there are no healthy, happy relationships. But here's what I want to tell you guys. I've seen it with my married clients over and over when they apply the principles of healthy relationships, that they are able to completely remodel their marriage. So I want you to start thinking about marriage or a lifetime relationship, right? Some of us are like, I want a lifetime relationship. It doesn't have to equal marriage. Cool. That's cool. So a lifetime commitment is what I'm talking about. Now, here's the thing about that. Compare it to what I love to say is a 5-star boutique hotel. What could be more fun to stay than that, right? So you want a marriage that's like, nothing could be more fun to live in than your marriage. True or not true, guys? Put it in the chat. Do you want a relationship that is the kind you love living in? You're like, I can't wait to go back there, right? After work or after your trip or whatever. Good. Now, if that's true for you, but the way you're going about building a relationship is dating. So now we're going to distinguish the point of the call, dating from building a relationship. Dating, hoping to find a relationship, is like you pick up a hammer and start swinging and you're hoping to build a mansion. Have you guys done that? Have you just been like, well, maybe I'll find her, and then suddenly we'll have a marriage that goes for 25 years and we're still saying it's better than it's ever been? Or at some point, maybe during those 25 years, one time we could say it's better than it's ever been. That will be worth it. Okay, so that's dating. Now, building a relationship, let's talk about building a 5-story boutique hotel. That's in my future. I haven't done it yet. But here's what it takes. It takes meticulous planning. It takes you got to have attention to detail in the integrity of the building itself. And then you've got to have attention to detail in the furnishings, in the style of the finishes. So it's how long of a process? Is anybody on the call a builder or has experienced building it before? How long do you think it would take? And how many people to build a 5-star boutique hotel? You know it's going to be thousands of hours, don't you? It's going to be an entire team. It's going to be a team of experts. It's going to be the person who's scouting for the land who knows something about foundations. And when they buy this lot of land to take off the old crap that was on it, they know that the drainage is right, the sunlight is right, the access to parking will work. All of these things have to be thought about before they even scratch the ground. Then they draw up plans to match that lot. Thank you, McLean. So a year and a half with 300 people at least is what it would take to build that. Perfect. So we want to start swinging a hammer and end up with a marriage that we are excited to come home to. And for most people, it doesn't happen. Shocker. What our clients use is a meticulous plan before you even meet her, right? So before you even find the land, you should find the dream, the market. I'm talking about the hotel again. So this is metaphorically speaking. You want to build the hotel. Before you start looking for land, you're now going to find investors. You're going to have a business plan written out explaining why you are going to kill it financially with this building and why they should give you their money. All of this stuff happens before you meet. Now, in a building relationship context, you're not dating. You're not out to meet people. Dating is like two people hanging out in a sexual context, whether or not there's sexuality going on, they're hoping for some romance, right? Meaning at least sexual tension, right? That's dating. Relationship building is a whole nother thing. That's what our clients use. And when you use it, meeting people becomes fun because you already vetted them. If you already have investors, you already have the money, and you already have a team, it's exciting to go look for a lot to build on, isn't it? It's not visualization, Al, not at all. It's very practical. So visualization, I'm not even going to talk about it, but we utilize it a little bit. It's less than 0.1% of the plan. If you visualize a hotel, will it come to be? That's how it is with relationships. Visualizing can give you the energy and motivation to keep building. It will not cause a hotel to come into existence. Are you guys following me? So, healthy, happy relationships. Here's what I want to share some stories. Okay? Some clients that have given me permission to share their stories. When I started working with this couple, I'm going to call him Tim, they had been married for 24 years. And their marriage was better than it had ever been by their report. They'd already been working on it for a while. There was just one problem. And instead of dealing with that one problem, what I did was I taught them how to incorporate and start living out of healthy relationships. Now, when I say healthy relationships, I'm talking about the thriving relationship model, which I'm actually going to put a link to it in the chat really quick. Okay. Because that's not going to work. 1 second. Because I want you guys to be able to reference it. It's also on my Facebook business page. But you can download a copy of it. It looks like a house. I love the analogy to buildings. So 1 second. This is the page to which you can download a copy and an explanation of healthy relationships. Okay. So this couple who'd been married for 24 years is putting in the components. I'll tell you what they are: integrity, 100% responsibility, and blank slate. That's just individual foundation work, those 3 pieces. So they put those in and they start to do the work. And here is the feedback after they'd applied it for 6 weeks, not a long time. We're having the best sex of our lives after 24 years of marriage. So for you guys who've never been married, things can get boring in the bedroom. Or if you've been with several girlfriends for several years, you already know that. Things usually get less exciting, not more. The other thing she said was, I said, how would you like your marriage to improve from this point? And she said, I don't ever want it to change. Can you imagine having a wife who said that about your marriage with her? I don't ever want anything to change. Like, I cannot imagine my needs being more fulfilled than they are right now. That's what she was saying. That is what's possible. And this is just one example. When you put in the components of a healthy relationship. So a happy, profoundly connected, passionate marriage or life partnership relationship is totally possible, even if you didn't start on the right foot. Now, that said, if you started by just swinging a hammer, and I'm going to keep hammering on this, this is something I talk about a lot. Think of what can you guys build if you start building with no plan? So we got some builders in the group, right? Maybe you could build a computer with no plan. But when it comes to carpentry, this has a real parallel in building of a relationship because structural integrity is what's required. We don't even address moral integrity. That's a separate conversation. Structural integrity in a relationship. So if I started, I'm pretty handy. So if I started swinging a hammer, I could probably build a bread box. I could probably build kind of a shoddy chicken coop, assuming I had the right tools and the right lumber. So, and that's without a plan, okay? It probably wouldn't be that fun, right? Because chicken coops like to have doors, and doors, you know, they're so annoying. I'd probably put like a flap with a hinge on the top. That's what I did the last chicken coop I built, right? Now, that's what you can build in a relationship if you start swinging a hammer. And here are some of the results of that. Either you'll have no foundation or you'll have a wobbly foundation. How many of you guys have had that with a woman? You've had a relationship, but the foundation wasn't really great. You never really knew that she was truly committed or happy. That's what a wobbly relationship feels like. Okay? So, I am seeing the chat, guys, so thanks so much for being here. So, if you just start swinging a hammer and you have a weak or no relationship, what often happens is your wife of 30 years leaves and you don't know why. Okay? I've seen that. Or your girlfriend of 2 years that you thought, like, this is a good thing. We're good, right? She is it. We can do this for life. It's not perfect. She calls you one night and breaks up and you never see her again. I just talked to a potential client this week that happened to him. And what does it do to a man when a woman suddenly disappears? What does it do to your confidence? It destroys it. You think you can't trust yourself now because you thought things were fine and she's gone. Okay? This is what happens when you just start swinging a hammer. Or, I've seen this too, she stays and she is miserable. You know, she goes to church to try to feel better. She isolates herself in her craft room to try to feel better. She stops having sex with you completely. You have no idea how many sexless marriages there are. I mean, some of you guys might have experienced it personally, but it's ridiculous because women get disconnected and they might stay. Maybe they don't suddenly leave you. Maybe they're just really not happy. What happens to a man in a sexless marriage? How does he feel about his manhood? What does that do to his confidence? It's destroyed. When you start by swinging a hammer, whatever you build is going to fall down. Or it's not going to be that fun to live in. So picture living in a chicken coop. That's the kind of relationship I can build without a plan. What I want you guys to get is this is a logical principle. It's not some pie in the sky theory. It's not, ethereal or abstract. It's not, Al. It's not just visualizing. It is absolutely on the court, dealing with real life, people's real weaknesses, and how you can use these principles to build what you want with our humanness, not in spite of it, not trying to ignore it, not compromising what you really want. Okay, so let's talk about the blueprint we use. I call it a phased build plan. So I would like to show it to you, and YouTube doesn't allow for screen sharing. So I want you to picture a flowchart with 6 boxes, okay? You guys like boxes. Boxes are square. Boxes are logical. So you got, 6 boxes, okay? Excuse me. Just kidding. Before I tell you about the phased build plan, I want to tell you part of it. Okay. So we have the relationship model, which is all the components needed for your relationship to last forever. And then we have the phased build plan. They're separate. The plan is how you attract and land high caliber women based on the relationship model. I'm going to say that one more time because I've done a lot of talking. When I look over here, I'm looking at the chat just to see how you guys are responding, okay? So I'm going to say that again. The plan is how single men attract and land high caliber women based on a thriving relationship model that has a relationship truly be mutually respectful, passionate, and profoundly connected. The connection is my favorite part. Let's say I want to blow it out of proportion like it's everything, but really it's just Elizabeth's favorite part. Okay. So the relationship model, it's, again, gosh, I wish I could draw on my screen. We're going to have to do this another way. I want to show it to you. So it looks like a foundation with 3 layers and then a stick house, like 2 walls and a roof. Okay, so it's got 6 parts. 3 layers of a foundation before you can start building, hint, hint. and then 2 walls and a roof. So here's how it goes. The first layer, and I promised Jeremy from our Facebook group that I would address his post. So this is where it comes in. The foundation, numero uno, right? First you have to dig a hole, but the first layer of the foundation you pour is called integrity, and it's not moral integrity. It's not who's right, who's wrong. It's not no. It's with what rigor you honor your word. Okay, integrity has to do with living aligned with who you say you are after you say who you are. Okay, there's a lot to this distinction. I've literally recorded hours and hours about integrity. But it is the source of all power. Okay, so if you want power around women, you need integrity in your life, rigorously honoring your word. So for example, if you say you're masculine, you have to live aligned with that, or you lack integrity. If you say you are strong, or that you honor yourself, then you have to set boundaries, or that lacks integrity. You're really not. You're lying, or you're saying your word has no integrity. Okay? If you say stuff and you don't live it, if you say I'm going to help you, but you don't help that person, that lacks integrity. Okay? It's doing what you say or cleaning it up every time. If you tell your date you're going to be there at 5 and you're there at 5:15, a man of his word will say, hey, I just want to acknowledge, by the way, we take all the make wrong out, so there's nothing wrong with being late. I want to acknowledge that I was 15 minutes late. No excuses. You don't make any excuses, but you acknowledge your word. I said I'd be here at 5. I wasn't. Now, you can tell her, either you can count on me to act that way for the rest of our relationship, or I'm going to show up on time next time. Or next time I'll text you at least and let you know that I'm stuck in traffic. So you don't have to wonder if I'm standing you up and leave you stressed out for 15 minutes. Do you guys see it? So that's layer number 1, is you honor your word everywhere, not just with women. You honor your word with your buddies. You honor your word with your mom. You honor your word with yourself. If you say you're going to go to the gym at 5 in the morning, at 4:30, you're putting on your shoes and warming up the car. That might be a little early. Maybe 4:50, depending how close the gym is. Okay? You guys tracking with me? That's structural integrity, honoring your word. Foundation layer number 1. Number 2 is, so hold on. Jeremy, I want to explain how this applies to you. I know you might not be on this, but you better watch it after. I love you guys. Now, what has integrity is to operate outside of your cranium. Okay? We live in 2 worlds. The world inside our head that filters all of our experience, and the world outside of our head that doesn't care what we think. Do you guys see it? These are the components required to have a lifelong relationship that is passionate and has integrity. I'm just getting started. We're on number 2 out of 6. Okay? Now, actually, sorry, we went back to number 1. We're still on integrity. Yeah, number 1's the most important anyway. That's why it's number 1. Okay. If you're in your head, it sounds like this. Story, blah, blah, blah. She left me. I don't know where she is. We were married for so long. She quit on the marriage, blah, 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 blah. Story. It's interpretation. That has no integrity. Stop interacting with that crap in your head. All of you guys, you can see this for yourself, okay? So what stories do you tell yourself? And I didn't plan time to really go into this distinction on this call, because it is like one part, okay? With our clients, we give you the whole enchilada, and then we hold your hand until you get there. Step by step. You got to live with integrity. That means getting out of your head, being in the real world. So I'm going to highlight a difference, okay? The story example I said was, we were married for so many years. That's not story. Okay, that's a fact. So we were married for, I don't remember, let's say 18 years. We're married for 18 years. And one day I came home and she wasn't there. That's not story. And I haven't seen her since. Not story. Those are just what happened. Now here's all the drama. She quit on the marriage. That's an interpretation. So you have to identify and stop interacting with all the stuff you made up. Now, by the way, guys, we swim in this. You're swimming in it right now. Why? Because it's a human mechanism. I'm not accusing you. I know for a fact any of you that haven't done this work profoundly are still swimming in it. I can find myself in story, and I'm like highly trained and developed in this. I've been rigorously practicing it for years. Okay. So what has power? Darren, Al, McLean, Stephen, what has power, Corey, is to identify what interpretations you're basing your actions on. What did you make up about the last woman who hurt your heart? And just by owning it, you're going to get more power. Stop pretending it's the truth. The stuff you make up in your head ain't the truth. It's not. Why do I say that? Because 6 billion people have unique perceptions of what happened. So we know yours does not have a freaking monopoly. This is what has integrity, guys. So it's, okay, Darren, I'm going to challenge you, okay? Your idea of the objective world is filtered through your story. 99% of it will be. So I really want you to start, maybe 90%, okay? I'll give you some benefit of the doubt. So start teasing it out. What interpretation, Darren, since you're interacting with me, I'm going to call you out, and you know I love you. What story did you make up? What interpretation that was valid did you invent inside your brain the last time a woman hurt you? Guys, this is for all of you. Because you think it's the truth, and that holds you prisoner. When you give it truth status, it's like you locked your own cell and handed it to the warden, the key. And then you're like, I don't know why I'm in prison. It's because you made something up that isn't real. Your interpretation is based on what's in your head, not what's out of your head. I'm going to give you an example, okay? She quit the marriage. Does that give somebody power to interpret? Now, his wife's gone. He hasn't seen her in over a year. So what has integrity? Deal with reality. My wife's gone. I haven't seen her in a year. That's it. That's all that happened. She didn't quit on the marriage. That's made up. You don't even know what's in her heart. You can't know because you're filtering it through your beliefs. You'd have to get into her beliefs to understand why she's doing it. Okay. I'm going to get perfect, Darren. You're doing great. I'm going to get back to you, but I want to address this first. Jeremy's question, okay? So what actually has integrity, Jeremy, is to start interacting with reality. So once you establish reality, okay, all that happened is I came home, I didn't see my wife. It's been, 14 months and I haven't seen her since. Perfect. That's all that happened. Now, the next question, guys, this is for all of you. Once you get clear of your story, you will now have freedom to do what I'm about to do, which is magical, but only if you do it. So you should do it right now and experience it. Now you ask, what do I want? I came home, my wife of 45 years wasn't there. I haven't seen her in 18 months. Now what do I want? Who's willing to do it with me? Darren, you made up a story that women use you. You made up that story. Are you willing to own that it's not real? All that's happened is you've done things and you haven't done things. Women have done things and said things to you and they haven't done and said things to you. And you had in your head you wanted it or you didn't want it, but that's not real. That's in your head, okay? So we're just going to separate reality from in your head. So Darren, if you made up that women are using you and it's not real, what actually happened? Do you see it? All that's happened is so-and-so said, will you fix my computer? You fixed her computer. That's all that happened. Nobody ever used you. Do you see it? I need a yes, because as soon as he gets to yes, and guys, this is for all of you. If you want to be coached, throw it in the chat. All that happened was she said words, you fixed her computer. That's all that happened. It doesn't mean anybody used you. Perfect. Now, what's the next question, Darren? Guys, he's now in reality. All that happened was she said blah, blah, blah. I did such and such. That's all that happened. It means nothing. Now, what do you want? Now, Darren, no woman has ever used you. What do you want? It's like total freedom. If you really give up the stories in your head, Jeremy, You will have complete freedom to act in your own best interest, which is the only interest you can truly act in. Once you're in reality, she did this, I did this, that's all that happened. I'm giving up that it means she doesn't love me. I'm giving up that it means she's lazy. I'm giving up that it means she's a liar. You want to start a relationship with her? Cool. Perfect. That's actionable. Boom, baby. That's what Darren says. What he really wants, she said blah, blah, blah. He did blah, blah, blah. That's all that happened. What he wants is to start a relationship. Okay, you got some work to do, my friend. That's perfect. Good. This is what has integrity. Okay? Before you had the experience, I'm talking to all of you guys and Jeremy, you were shocked and blindsided. You lost your confidence. I'm going to tell you a secret, and then you guys can either take this or you can lose the value of it. You never lost your confidence. You made up something about yourself that was excruciatingly painful because you accepted it as the truth. For example, I'm not a good enough partner. When you accept that as the truth, it destroys you. Now, all that happened is your wife left 18 months ago. That's all that happened. You made up, and this isn't correlated to Jeremy. He didn't tell me what he made up. Okay, so this is just made up. This is an example. Your wife suddenly leaves after 30 years of marriage. I keep changing the story. I love it. I think it's funny. You've been married for 30 years. Your wife's gone. You don't hear from her for 18 months. She's probably dead, honestly. But you know, forget that. That's made up, right? In reality, all we know is you haven't seen her in 18 months. Now, what do you want? Okay? You only lose your confidence if you say, oh my gosh, she did it because I'm whatever. Not good in bed. I'm a loser. I'm not a good enough partner. I'm too selfish. All that is made up and it's not real. Are you guys getting this? Okay, because now what we're going to talk about, by the way, I'm not going to keep going about the relationship model. All the stuff I just gave you is literally from one component of it. Our clients go through 6. And they end up, you just don't realize how profoundly happy you can be in a relationship until you have a healthy one. Okay? Okay, so next part is the phased build plan. Took me a while to get here. Sorry, guys. 6 boxes on a flowchart, okay? We don't date. We build relationships. If you go out with a woman, it's our clients, okay? The men who just want to get committed to a healthy woman in a healthy way for life. If that's what they really want, we're like the best at that. Okay? Now, they follow a plan. It's very simple. And telling you guys will make no difference, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because that's what you're here for, okay? Number 1, get clear. Exactly what kind of woman would support your future. Not the kind you like. I want you to set aside everything you like. Oh, I like blonde hair. I like a woman who sings. Or I like her to say thank you. Great. But that might not be required for her to support your future goals. You might need a woman who's really blunt to launch you off the deep end towards your wildest dreams. I don't know. So looking from the perspective of your future, that your dreams individually, what kind of qualities do I need? Logically now, switching to the box number 2, what would attract that? What is attractive to a woman who is courageous, bold, and self-aware? Good. Think that through. That takes a lot of work. So it's intellectual effort. Remember the hotel. You are building a freaking masterpiece. It's going to take a minute. Okay? Then you send that signal out into the world. Well, here's what I authentically offer. Everything has to be authentic, guys, or obviously it's fake. If you don't get more and more authentic over time, you're just in self-deception and you're missing your own freaking life. Okay? So everything you say or do from now on needs to come from who you really are, deeply. Okay? That's integrity, living aligned with who you say you are. Okay, now, so what authentically can you offer? So you've identified what would attract that woman. What would attract the empathic, mature woman that I want. Okay? You've identified those things. Okay, now which ones do I authentically offer? That now you send that information into the world. That's what you present in your Facebook groups, on your dating apps, on your dates, in your live events that you enjoy. By the way, please don't ever go to another live event you don't want to go to. Anything you don't want to do is called self-sacrifice, and it doesn't work. You'll teach her to sacrifice you because you're like, I'm fine sacrificing me, so you can sacrifice me too. Lacks integrity, guys. Okay, but let's say you go to a social activity you want to go to. Great. Now you need to send a signal out that would attract the right kind of woman. What opening line would attract someone who's mature and kind? Because it probably isn't going to be, oh, and you want to repel the wrong kind of women. So you probably don't want to start with like, how was the game Friday? Unless you know she's a passionate volleyball teacher and you want to know how her girls did on Friday. Then you could say, hey, how was the game on Friday? And she's going to want to share. That's going to evoke a mature response, right? But normally, small talk is not going to attract the right women. You need to send a deliberate signal to attract what you want. Okay, good. Now, after attract, again, we're at step 2 out of 6, guys. So if you think you're ready to dive in and get this kind of support, I'm going to give you the information to contact us at the end of the video. Okay, box number 3, we're on a flow chart. Box number 3, filter. You're going to have so much response from so many good women that you need a powerful filter to filter out the incompatibilities, right? Your libido isn't going to do it. Your eyes are not going to do it. Some amazing, beautiful women are compatible with you and some are not. But you're going to attract the best out of women. So you're going to have to filter out a lot of them. Because before you ever marry, filter means you identify the top qualities you require for your future. Remember when you got clear? Now you're identifying those before you meet. Therefore, when you go on a date, you're only dating marriage quality. You guys clear? You only date marriage quality and you date them with parameters. Again, you're not dating, you're building a relationship every moment you're talking, every moment. Not that every moment is planned. No. But so the next phase is exploring. You filtered out great from good. Just need to just double check you guys can see my camera. Good. So now you've got explore. You're exploring her world and you need to be dating several people at a time because going exclusive fast messes us up. So you're exploring with your 4 to 8 marriage quality women. And, you're going to discover incompatibilities and you're going to be like, you're awesome, but you're not the one. So one will fall off and you'll go back to filtering, You explore for at least 60 days. And then you can start practicing early build. The next box is build. So think of it in a hotel as the first 3 boxes are make the plan and get the investors, draw up the blueprint, start scouting for a lot. Build is like the laborers are there and they've started digging. They've started pouring the foundation. They're putting in the posts. Okay, so build is the hands-on manual labor of the hotel coming into existence. The 300 guys over a year and a half. That's the build. Okay, you won't need 300 men. Good news, good news. And then, that requires a lot of, we have boxes you've got to check. Do we resolve conflict when she's under stress? Am I able to recover when I offend her? Does she allow me to clean it up? All these things that are required for an amazing life relationship. You're going to build those there, or you're going to find out she can't build them and you move on. The final, once you've built everything you need for a lifelong healthy relationship, then you can go into commit, which is when the pre-close, when you ask her to marry you. So Corey says, typically how long is the build part? So you can't start building till at least 60 days. And then it takes at least 9 months of building before you should get engaged or move in together. So, and that's what I call the pre-close. So commit is going to be get engaged, and that should last for at least 3 months before you get married. Okay. But that's a minimum. That is when you have a mentor, a guide, the structures. That is as fast as you can do it. As far as I know, we're the fastest. So a minimum from tomorrow, if you were to meet her, to married in a healthy way is 12 months. I usually say 12 to 18. Think of it as 12 to 18. should you choose the fast track? Thank you, Corey. Great question. Okay. Now, do you guys see how this is different from starting to swing a hammer? There's nothing that's similar. Okay. Women come to you. Dating becomes way more fun and interesting. Every date is amazing because you're not dating until you already know she's marriage quality. A lot of you men haven't found or identified marriage quality, sometimes ever. Like maybe you got divorced and then you've just dated good women because nobody's perfect. You're not finding the things you actually want to support your future. Sorry, Darren, I don't understand the comment, so I'm going to need you to clarify that. Okay, so that's the phased build plan, okay? So this is what we teach, and it works. And it's what I was born to do, so I love it so much. So that's why I get so passionate about it. I know what's possible, and I know the crap you guys are currently doing, and with the best intentions. So, yep. Okay, now, if you think, you know what? I'm ready for that to be my life focus. I want to dive in. I want all the tools. I want all the guidance, and I want support professionally until I'm married to a healthy woman. I never want to have my heart broken again. That over my dead body will I go on another day. If you're that level of serious, I want you to either book a call or watch my webinar. Okay. So I'm going to put in the chat how you can book a call. The webinar though, here's why I recommend the webinar. It's going to give you the details of the phased building plan, and it might help you filter yourself out. So a lot of people are not fit for our program. Out of the people I talk to, I only tell about 40% I do not tell about my program because it doesn't match their life and their commitment level, okay? So I prefer for people to filter themselves out before I talk to them. And it's intense. Coaching is intense, it's fast, and we get it done. Okay, so let me, I'm going to put the number in for booking a call, but again, if you're not sure, I definitely recommend you watch the webinar first. Okay, so there's the call link, and now I'm going to find my webinar link. Probably should have had this ready ahead of time. This is a great time for you guys to ask questions. We're wrapping up now, and I just want to make sure that those who watch this and are like, I would go to any length and pay any price to get on the path to find my life partner. If that's you, book a call. If you think you might, if you believed in it, watch the webinar. So let me just do this really quick. Still looking for that link. Here's for the call. Okay, this is it, I think. Oh no, you know what? I know where to get it. Sorry, there's specific links so that I can tell where people came from. I just want to give you guys the right one. And I will come back to the chat in just a second. Everybody, go ahead and write your questions or your comments, because when I come back, it takes a minute for the chat to load, and when I come back to the chat, I'll respond to all of them. Here it is. Okay, registration page, copy to clipboard. I will now put this in our. Okay, so if you want to see the webinar and you haven't seen it yet, here's the link. That can help you sort yourself out if you're considering it, but you're not sure. If you're absolutely sure, book a call. Okay, I don't see. Okay, so Darren his comment was, I don't see a lot of questions, guys. But you know what? A great question would be, how do you imply integrity in your life, or how can you use this information, right? Don't let this be another day that you learn something amazing and don't apply it. That is what a coach is really good for, is the accountability and keeping you in action, okay? So Darren says he sees the methodology like our methodology, the new way, the 6-part flowchart. It's refined versus the old way of just swinging a hammer. Just go out with any woman who'll go out with you if you're socially awkward, or if you're a man who knows how to attract women. It's going out with and falling in love with incompatible women. Okay, so Corey says, I moved on from the reasons for the end of the marriage. The issues are finding a woman who is really looking for the same. Good, absolutely. Good. So what I'm hearing, Corey, is you gave up making your ex wrong. Like your marriage, what happened was you were married And now you're not. If you give up the reasons, that's all that happened. That's all that happened. Do you guys get that? If Corey really, and all of you, really gives up what it means that I'm still single. I'm still single at this age. All that happened was you were born and you're not dead yet. That's all that happened. If you've never been married, that's all that happened. Okay? So stop making up that you're inferior or whatever you're making up. Socially awkward is a story. I told a client this week, it's about being authentic, bringing who you really are to the table. That's what turns on the ladies, the right ladies. There's plenty of other things that turn on ladies, but you're just not attracting healthy. Okay. So Corey, good job giving up the reasons that your marriage ended. Now, there's plenty we can learn from a past relationship. I had a date ask me, what did you learn from your divorce? And I was like, do you mean what did I learn today? What's the most important thing I've learned? Because I'm constantly learning about myself by looking back at my marriage, right? It's a very wide pool of experience. I was married for 17 years and love my life more than now than I ever have. So good job moving on from the reasons. And if you really give up your reasons and someone's like, why are you divorced? The truth is because I chose to get divorced. But you can't say that. I had to say to a date, I know what you're asking. And I don't make excuses for my divorce. I can tell you what happened, right? But the only thing that happened is I chose to get divorced. I was married. I'm not married. That's all that happened. In reality, outside of my head, right? With no interpretations added. Okay, guys, I love you. I'm going to end the call just because I'm not getting any more questions. Please post questions in our Facebook group. In case any of you aren't in our Facebook group, let me tell you a tiny bit about that. And McLean, then I'll address your question because I just want everybody to get the best value and then be able to move on with their day. So let me just put the link really quick to my Facebook group. One of you guys said you found this on Connect, and we have a great group just for men. It's only men. Why? Because I like you guys being able to have a safe space where you can say anything about women and it's not denigrated. I've gotten so much hate mail from women since starting this men's only group. Okay, so here's our Facebook group for single men who want to be in a committed relationship. And now I'm going to address McLean's question. What do you tell people that ask what caused the divorce? Seems like they all ask for a story. Good. I mean, here's what, McLean, what I would tell them is what you're committed to now. So for example, when my date said, why did you get divorced? Or what caused your divorce? I turned to him and I said, listen, I have a really unusual way I like to look at the world. I call it 100% responsible. What it means is I'm the source of every experience I've ever had in life and every experience I ever will. What that means, date, it was a really fun date. But what I said to him is, what that means is that if I were to tell you the truth about why I got divorced, it's because I chose to get divorced. That's it. But what you're really asking me is what I care about. What were the breakdowns? What had me choose to divorce? So I addressed what he was concerned about and I shared what I'm committed to. And then I told him, these are the things that didn't work for me. So that his goal, I think, was to understand who I am, what my values are, and what my commitments are. So McLean, listen to women that what they really want to know is not about your divorce. But you can share stories from the past to tell them what they really do want to know, which is who you are deeply. What are you committed to? They're wondering, are you the same as me? You know, some women are like, do you want to make a difference in the world as much as I do? That's how I feel. When I go on a date, I'm like, you know, do you care about people as deeply as I do? Because I didn't used to care about people, right? So maybe he's in that place. Maybe he hasn't developed the passion for people that I have. Or maybe he has, and I can't wait to connect with him. So, McLean, does that answer your question? What do you tell people that ask what caused the divorce? You tell them what you really care about and what you're committed to. You tell them who you authentically are. You put yourself on the line. You make it risky. Like when you really share what you really care about, that's risky. You guys get that? It's vulnerable. And it's critical if it's a woman you want to bond with. Okay. I adore you all. Thanks for spending an hour with me. I only usually plan on 30 minutes, but you never know how these are going to go. So again, the website where you can go if you want to talk to me, like you want to draw a line in the sand in your life, thrivingresults.info/apply. thrivingresults.info/apply. I'll try and go back in, sometimes I remember, and put the Facebook group link in the comments as well. Guys, I would love it. Like, our Facebook group has kind of paused growing. If you have any friends who are single, please share the Facebook group with them. Okay? I really, really want to be able to support as many men as possible, right? I'm spending an hour. I love supporting 60, even more than I love supporting 10. So invite your friends. Do that for me. All right, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye. Elizabeth Maserbi, Thriving Results Coaching.